In the mountains of western India, an ancient civilization decided to build a temple. But they did not build it from the ground up. They started at the top of a mountain and carved downward, removing 200,000 tons of solid rock by hand until an entire building stood free from the cliff face. One mistake at any point in the process would have ruined the entire structure. They did not make a single one. That temple is just one of 8 ancient structures that should not have been possible with the tools and technology available at the time. These are buildings, monuments, and entire cities that were thousands of years ahead of their time. Number 1. Baalbek, the stones too heavy for modern cranes. In Lebanon's Bekaa Valley, the ruins of Baalbek sit on a foundation that defies engineering logic. Beneath the Roman temple complex lies a platform of massive stone blocks, 3 of which, known as the trilithon, weigh approximately 800 tons each. They were quarried, transported, and placed at a height of roughly 20 feet above ground level, with a precision that leaves no visible gaps between them. But the real shock is in the nearby quarry. Still partially buried in the ground lies a monolith known as the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, weighing an estimated 1,200 tons. In 2014, German archaeologists excavated an even larger stone directly beside it, 64 feet long and weighing 1,650 tons, the largest worked stone block ever discovered anywhere in the world. The most powerful construction cranes in operation today reach a maximum of roughly 1,200 tons. These stones exceed that limit. Whoever placed the trilithon moved and positioned objects heavier than anything modern equipment is designed to handle, and they did it over 2,000 years ago. Number 2. Derinkuyu, a city for 20,000 people carved underground. In the Cappadocia region of central Turkey, a man renovating his home in 1963 knocked through a wall and discovered a tunnel behind it. That tunnel led to another, and another. Behind his basement wall was an underground city stretching 18 stories deep into the earth. Derinkuyu could shelter 20,000 people, along with their livestock and food supplies. It includes ventilation shafts reaching nearly 300 feet deep, fresh water wells, communal kitchens, churches, schools, and storage rooms. The passageways were designed so heavy circular stone doors could be rolled across them from the inside, sealing individual floors against intruders. No army could fight its way down through those narrow corridors. The soft volcanic tuff that makes up the region's geology could be carved with basic tools. But the engineering challenge was not the carving. It was designing a ventilation and water system capable of sustaining 20,000 people underground without suffocation. Whoever built Derinkuyu solved problems of airflow, sanitation, and water supply that would not be formally studied as engineering disciplines for thousands of years. Number 3. The Great Pyramid of Giza. Precision that modern engineers still struggle to explain. The Great Pyramid has been analyzed more than any other ancient structure on Earth, and after centuries of study, it still raises more questions than it answers. Built around 2500 BC, the pyramid contains an estimated 2.3 million limestone blocks, each averaging 2.5 tons. The base covers 13 acres, and it is level to within less than 1 inch across its entire footprint. Its 4 sides are aligned to true north with an accuracy of 3/60ths of a degree. That margin of error is so small it was not matched until the invention of modern surveying equipment. The builders had no iron tools, no wheels for transport, and no pulleys. The limestone was quarried locally, but the granite used in the interior chambers was transported from Aswan, over 500 miles to the south. How blocks weighing up to 80 tons were moved that distance, and then lifted into place inside the pyramid, remains a subject of serious debate among engineers and archaeologists. The Great Pyramid was the tallest man-made structure on Earth for nearly 4,000 years. Nothing built in the ancient or medieval world came close. Number 4. Puma Punku, machine-like precision, carved by hand. High in the Bolivian Andes, at an altitude of nearly 13,000 feet, the ruins of Puma Punku contain some of the most precisely cut stone blocks ever found in the ancient world. The blocks are carved from andesite, one of the hardest stones on Earth, and they feature perfectly flat surfaces, exact right angles, and interlocking shapes that fit together like puzzle pieces. Some contain drill holes so precise and uniform that they appear machine-made. The level of geometric accuracy across the site is consistent enough that modern stonemasons have said they would struggle to replicate it with contemporary tools. Some of the blocks weigh over 100 tons, yet the nearest quarry for the Andes site is roughly 10 miles away and 60 feet lower in elevation. The blocks had to be transported uphill across rough terrain with no known system of roads or wheeled vehicles. The site predates the Inca Empire and belongs to the Tiwanaku civilization, which left behind no written records. How they achieved this level of precision with stone and bronze tools, and why they abandoned the site, remains unknown. Number 5. The Kailasa Temple, carved from the top down. In the Ellora Cave complex of Maharashtra, India, the Kailasa Temple was not built. It was subtracted. Sometime in the 8th century, workers began at the top of a basalt cliff and carved downward, removing an estimated 200,000 tons of rock to reveal a freestanding temple 98 feet tall. The process is the exact opposite of conventional construction. Every pillar, every wall, every staircase, every sculpture had to be planned before the first chisel struck stone, because material could only be removed, never added back. A single miscalculation anywhere in the structure would have been permanent and uncorrectable. The temple covers an area roughly twice the size of the Parthenon in Athens and stands roughly 1.5 times its height. It features elaborate carvings of elephants, lions, and scenes from Hindu mythology, all hewn from the living rock. Drainage channels were cut into the cliff above the temple to divert rainwater away from the structure, a detail that suggests the builders were thinking not just about construction but about preservation over centuries. Modern architects have noted that a project of this scale, executed top-down, would require extraordinarily precise planning even with three-dimensional modeling software. The builders of Kailasa had none. Number 6. Nan Madol, a city built on the ocean. Off the southeastern coast of Pohnpei, a small island in Micronesia, the ruins of Nan Madol sit on 92 artificial islands built on top of a coral reef. The city covers approximately 200 acres and is constructed almost entirely from massive basalt columns, stacked horizontally like Lincoln logs, some weighing up to 50 tons. There is no basalt source on the reef itself. The columns were quarried from volcanic sites elsewhere on Pohnpei and transported across open water to the construction site. How a civilization with no metal tools and no known system of pulleys or levers moved basalt columns weighing 50 tons across the ocean and stacked them on a coral reef has never been adequately explained. Nan Madol served as the ceremonial and political capital of the Saudalur dynasty, which ruled Pohnpei for roughly 5 centuries. The city includes tombs, temples, and residential compounds, all linked by a network of tidal canals, earning it the nickname the Venice of the Pacific. When European sailors first encountered the ruins in the 19th century, they refused to believe that Pacific Islanders had built it. Number 7. Stonehenge. Stones carried 150 miles by a prehistoric civilization. Stonehenge is arguably the most famous ancient monument in the world, and the question of how it was built has never been fully resolved. The structure consists of 2 types of stone. The larger sarsen stones, weighing up to 25 tons each, were transported from Marlborough Downs roughly 25 miles to the north. The smaller blue stones, each weighing between 2 and 5 tons, were brought from the Preseli Hills in Wales, 150 miles away. This was accomplished roughly 5,000 years ago by a civilization that had no writing, no metal tools, and no wheels. Why these specific stones were chosen from such a distant source remains a mystery. Recent analysis has shown that the blue stones can be traced to exact outcrops in Wales, meaning the builders did not just want any stone, they wanted particular stones from particular locations. The monument is precisely aligned with the sunrise on the summer solstice and the sunset on the winter solstice, demonstrating sophisticated astronomical knowledge. Multiple experiments have attempted to replicate the transport of the stones using ancient methods. Some have succeeded, none have made it look easy. Number 8. The Nazca Lines, drawings that were never meant to be seen from the ground. In the arid plains of southern Peru, Over 1,000 geoglyphs stretch across nearly 200 square miles of desert. Some are simple geometric shapes, lines, triangles, spirals. Others are enormous figures, a spider, a hummingbird, a monkey, a condor. The hummingbird alone is over 300 feet long. The Nazca lines were created by removing the reddish surface stones to expose the lighter ground beneath. The technique itself is not complicated. What is difficult to explain is the precision. The lines are remarkably straight over distances of several miles, and the animal figures maintain accurate proportions at a scale that would be nearly impossible to achieve without an aerial view. The Nazca people created these between roughly 500 BC and 500 AD. They had no aircraft, no hot air balloons, and no elevated terrain nearby from which to view the completed figures. How they maintained proportional accuracy at this scale, and why they created images that could only be fully appreciated from an altitude they could never reach, has been debated for decades. Theories range from astronomical calendars, to water-finding rituals, to ceremonial pathways. None of them fully explains why a civilization would dedicate generations of labor to art that they themselves could never see as intended.